Hello, my name is Bogdan, and this is another original author's story. Enjoy the show. My name is Victor, and I'm an actuary. If you don't know what that is, it basically means I calculate risk for a living. I look at numbers, I analyze probabilities, and I make decisions based strictly on data, never emotion. Some people call it a dry profession. My wife, Chloe, called it a lifestyle. We had been married for 4 years. When we met, she said she loved my stability. I was a rock, she told her friends. I had a solid income, a beautiful 4-bedroom house in the suburbs, and a 5-year plan. Chloe, on the other hand, was a free spirit. She bounced between part-time jobs, spending most of her days curating her Instagram aesthetic and draining my credit cards on designer shoes and high-end skincare routines. I didn't mind providing. That was my role. But lately, the narrative had shifted. The stability she once praised was suddenly suffocating. I was static. I was predictable. I was, in her exact words as she stood in our hallway last Friday afternoon, boring. "I just need some space, Victor," she said, dramatically tossing her hair over her shoulder. She had 2 massive hard-shell Samsonite suitcases sitting by the front door. "I'm going to stay with my sister in Portland for the weekend. I need a spark. I need excitement. I feel like I'm drowning in this suburban monotony." I looked at the suitcases. Her sister lived 2 hours away. It was a Friday evening, and she was allegedly coming back on Sunday night. You do not need 90 pounds of luggage for a 2-day trip to Portland unless you are smuggling gold bullion or moving out. I already knew something was off. I'm a data guy. I noticed trends. I had noticed the sudden change in her phone password. I had noticed the hushed phone calls taken in the master bathroom with the shower running. I had noticed that her side of the walk-in closet was slowly thinning out. The expensive winter coats were gone. The limited edition handbags were nowhere to be found. But I didn't yell. I didn't block the door. I didn't beg her to stay. "Okay," I said quietly, keeping my face completely blank. "Drive safe. Tell Sarah I said hello." She looked at me, almost disappointed that I wasn't giving her the dramatic, tearful fight she clearly wanted. She scoffed, grabbed her bags, and walked out. The heavy mahogany door clicked shut behind her. The house was completely silent. I didn't go to the window to watch her drive away. I went straight to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of iced water, and walked into the living room. It was time to gather the data. I am not a hacker, but I understand the ecosystem of modern technology. 2 months ago, Chloe insisted she needed the newest iPhone Pro Max for her content. I bought it for her. What she forgot was that her old Apple ID was still logged into the family iPad, sitting on our coffee table. The one she only ever used to watch Netflix while taking baths. I picked up the iPad. The battery was at 8%. I plugged it into the wall charger, sat down on the leather sofa, and tapped the little green messages icon. It took about 3 seconds for the iCloud to sync. When it did, the screen lit up like a slot machine. There was a contact pinned to the top of her list. The name was saved as Sarah, but the area code was local, not Portland. I tapped on the thread. I didn't feel a spike of adrenaline. I didn't feel my heart break. I just felt a cold, sharp clarity settle over my brain. The messages were a masterclass in betrayal. Sarah was actually a guy named Derek. From the context clues, Derek was a personal trainer at the gym Chloe had supposedly quit 3 months ago. Chloe just left the house. The robot didn't even blink. "I swear he has ice water in his veins." Derek: "Can't wait, baby. Did you bring the rest of the shoes?" Chloe: "Got 2 full suitcases today. A few more sister weekends, and I'll have all my good stuff moved into your place. We can drop the bomb on him next month after my birthday." Derek: "Perfect. I've got the wine breathing. Hurry up." I scrolled up. It went back 6 months. The gaslighting, the jokes at my expense, the detailed plans to slowly siphon her valuables out of my house before filing for a divorce and trying to claim half of the equity in a home I paid for entirely. She thought she was orchestrating a brilliant, slow-motion heist. She called me a robot. She thought my lack of emotional outbursts meant I was stupid. She mistook my calm for compliance. I closed the iPad. I walked into the kitchen and grabbed my car keys. I had 48 hours until Sunday evening. That was exactly 47 hours more than I needed. I drove to Home Depot. I walked past the regular kitchen trash bags and went straight to the construction aisle. I purchased 3 boxes of Husky Contractor cleanup bags, 42 gallons, 3 mil thick tear-resistant plastic. They are completely opaque, jet black, and strong enough to haul shattered drywall and rusty nails. I also bought a pack of heavy-duty industrial zip ties. When I got back to the house, I initiated what I now fondly refer to as the trash bag protocol. I started in the master bathroom. I didn't smash anything. I didn't pour bleach on her clothes. Vandalism is petty, and it gives the other person a reason to play the victim. I was simply accelerating her moving timeline. I was doing her a favor. I snapped open the first heavy-duty plastic bag. I opened her vanity drawers. Into the bag went the $300 serums, the endless tubes of lipstick, the imported moisturizers, the curling irons, the hair dryers, and every single makeup palette. Zip tie. Next bag. Then, I moved to the walk-in closet. I worked methodically, like a machine on an assembly line. I pulled her remaining dresses off the hangers by the handful and dropped them into the dark plastic abyss. Jeans, sweaters, activewear, zip tie. Next bag. I moved to the shoe rack. Red bottoms, knee-high boots, running shoes. Thrown into the contractor bags without a second thought. Zip tie. Next bag. I went through every room in that house. I cleared out her magazines from the living room, her specialized organic teas from the kitchen pantry, her yoga mats from the home gym, and the hideous throw pillows she bought that I always hated. If it belonged to her, if it had her energy attached to it, it went into a black bag. It took me 5 hours. By midnight, there were 22 massive, bloated black contractor bags sitting in the middle of the garage. The house echoed differently. It felt clean. It felt sanitized. I woke up at 7 a.m. on Saturday. I drank a cup of black coffee and made a phone call. By 9 a.m., a commercial locksmith was at my front door. I told him I had lost my keys on a business trip and needed a complete hardware upgrade. I paid a premium to have him drill out every single deadbolt on the exterior doors, the front door, the back patio, the garage side entrance. He installed high-security, smart key lock sets. By 11 a.m., the old keys were just useless pieces of metal. At 1 p.m., I drove to the local U-Haul center. I rented an 8-foot pickup truck. I drove it back to my house, backed it up to the garage, and began loading the 22 heavy contractor bags into the bed. I had Derek's address. Chloe had thoughtfully sent him an Uber receipt a week prior in their text thread. He lived in a mid-rise apartment complex on the other side of town. I pulled up to his building at exactly 3 p.m. It was a nice Saturday afternoon. People were out walking their dogs. The apartment had a ground-floor courtyard that faced the main street, right in front of his unit's patio. I lowered the tailgate. I grabbed the first bag by the zip tie, walked it over to the edge of his patio, and dropped it on the grass. Thud. I went back for the next one, over and over again, 22 times. I stacked them neatly. I didn't throw them. I arranged them like sandbags holding back a flood. By the time I was done, there was a literal wall of thick, black garbage bags blocking the view of his patio window. It looked like a biohazard cleanup site. I got back into the U-Haul, rolled down the window, and pulled out my phone. I typed in the number I had memorized from the iPad. Victor. Hey, Derek. This is Victor, the robot. It looks like Chloe forgot a few things for her move. I brought the rest of her stuff so she doesn't have to keep making those exhausting weekend trips. She's 100% yours now. P.S. The bags are heavy. Lift with your legs. I hit send. I blocked his number immediately. I then opened Chloe's contact file, blocked her number, blocked her on every social media platform, and removed her access to the joint credit cards, transferring the remaining balance to an account solely in my name. I drove the U-Haul back, returned the keys, and took an Uber home. I spent the rest of Saturday evening watching a documentary on the Roman Empire in my pristine, quiet living room. I slept for 8 uninterrupted hours. Sunday evening rolled around. At exactly 7:15 p.m., my security camera app pinged my phone. Motion detected at the front door. I opened the live feed. It was Chloe. She didn't have her suitcases. She looked absolutely frantic. Her hair was a mess, and her makeup was smeared. She was aggressively jiggling her key in the front door, realizing it wasn't even sliding into the cylinder. She hammered her fist against the heavy mahogany wood. She pressed the doorbell 3 times in rapid succession. I watched her pull out her phone, tap the screen furiously, and hold it to her ear. My phone did not ring. Chloe, voicemail transcript. Victor! Victor, open the door. What did you do? Why are all my things in garbage bags at Derek's? Victor, please, we need to talk about this. You can't just lock me out. My credit card got declined at the gas station. Victor! She stood on the porch for 20 minutes, alternating between crying, screaming, and looking through the frosted glass sidelights. Finally, she slumped down on the welcome mat, realizing the brutal reality of her situation. She had no money, no access to the house, and her entire life's possessions were currently marinating in contractor bags on a personal trainer's front lawn. The spark she was looking for had officially burned her life to the ground. After another 10 minutes, an unfamiliar sedan pulled into the driveway. Derek. He didn't even get out of the car. He just popped the trunk. Chloe stood up, wiped her face, and slowly walked over, getting into the passenger seat without looking back at the house. I turned off the camera feed. I walked into my kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and pulled out a cold, crisp IPA. I cracked the tab, took a long sip, and listened to the glorious, uninterrupted silence of my boring, predictable, static home. Well, that's how it ends. If you watch this story all the way through and you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button. It's the best support and motivation for me to keep making great content for you guys. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. This is Bogdan, and I'll see you next time.